this might work. We'll see if this works. All depends on... Oh, here we go. Jaylene Soccer Gold, 6XO, silver. Tony Stephanie, 1980, what's that? Bronze. What's up, everybody? Happy Memorial Day weekend for those of us in the United States. I know other countries also have their Memorial Days as well. I think that's a lovely thing. I think we should all be remembering all things, but particularly in holidays like today, or this weekend rather, Monday, those who have given so much, like given everything, ultimately, their entire lives, in order to fight for and protect the lives of so many others. And that's a pretty incredible sacrifice for somebody to make. So I know that I only have all of the things that I have in my life because I was blessed enough to be born into this life and in this country, and the freedoms and the liberties and opportunities that are afforded by this incredible country. So to all of you out there who have served in our armed services, any branch, thank you for your service. If you know anyone who has fallen, sending you love and light. Have you or related to, married to, akin to anyone who has fallen in service to protecting freedom around the world, sending you love and light, remembering with you. It's a really important thing that we do. Also, just wanted to send y'all love and light out there as well. I was sitting in my house. I was like, man, it's such a beautiful day. I mean, look at this. Hold on, let me see if I can flip this around. Oh, it's just so pretty. Just so pretty. It's nature, y'all. It's nature, y'all. But so I was sitting there doing a little reading, some prayer, and just, kind of in my own thoughts and stuff. And I was like, man, it's stunning out right now. I got to go for a walk. I don't do that enough. And since May is Mental Health Awareness Month, as you guys all know, it dawned on me like, wow, getting outside, going for a walk, it's like one of the most important things that we can be doing for ourselves to practice some self-love. You give yourself time. We have to allow ourselves time to go exist, not just do. We give ourselves all kinds of time to do because we think we need to always be doing. I'm a massive culprit of this myself. I feel like if I'm not doing something, I'm wasting time, but that's just not true, guys. It's just not true. Sometimes it is good to not do. Sometimes it is very good and very right to just sit, to just rest, to just trust, to just exist. Simply exist, simply be. And going on a beautiful walk is a great way to afford that to yourself. Treat yourself. You know what I mean? Treat yourself. The sun's beating down, but the shade is... What am I doing? What am I even doing? But yeah, so, and I was reminded of the awesome little ditty that I got to sing with Sesame Street. You should really take a walk on this lovely sunny day. I was like, I'm singing to myself right now. I gotta get up. I gotta get out. I gotta go walk around this beautiful place. Oh, so pretty. Thank you, Texas, for welcoming this California boy into your hearts. I'm really grateful to be living out here. Particularly in a place like Austin, I just think, man, what a groovy town. And the nature out here is stunning. I'm trying not to get bit by some steak. I think they're all chilling right now. Yeah, so there you go. Just checking in. This is one of those check-ins, guys. Just checking in. We got to love ourselves. We got to love each other. We got to care about our health, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, or otherwise metaphysical. I don't. These are all very important things. Are you guys going to get outside today? Tomorrow? Oh, look at that. Oh. Trees, guys, they're the lungs of the earth. I mean, quite literally, look at that. It's a lung. I got the black lung pop. man. Anywho, any questions from the peanut gallery? Anybody? Well, Suka Mayana, I love you so much too. If I'm not looking, by the way, it's just because I'm looking down to make sure that I'm not stepping too close to a snake. FYI. There's not that many snakes, but there are snakes. And lots of grasshoppers. I am not wearing sunscreen. That's a great question. No, this dum-dum who got his farmer's tan last time thought, screw it. I'm just going to go walk around. Just walking around, looking around. Hey-oh. Just got a little buggy on my shoulder. I wasn't happy about that. Oh, guys, hold on a second. I'm going to flip this around. Wait, one second. Look at that. Oh, man. It's just so pretty. Just so pretty. P-U-R-T-Y apostrophe fingernail paint emoji. All of the things. Where am I? Control your mind. I am in Texas, sir. Or ma'am. I don't know why I assumed that control your mind would be a man. Patriarchy, guys. Yeah, I'm in Texas. Hillary, I thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's really beautiful out here too. I have not really been reading much of anything other than some scripts and stuff like that, other materials. Just like stuff that's kind of on my plate right now and I gotta attend to. But I do want to get into, I want to crack Eckhart Tolle's either Power of Now or A New Earth. I got the Power of Now, and then some other people told me, like, oh, you should read A New Earth. It's better. So, I don't know. Maybe one of those two, or maybe something completely different. Enough of something completely different. Oh, wow, yeah. Check this out. Hold up. Oh, so pretty. Oh, wait for it. So pretty. It's so pretty. Not good with a zoom in pan, guys. My hand's not steady enough. know I've talked about it a couple of times before in these check-ins or in other posts or things like that, or times that, I've discussed any manner of mental health or things like that, but or spirituality or whatever. I think they're all very intertwined, to be perfectly honest, and they keep bearing witness to the truth of the other, which is just incredible, in my humble opinion. But gratitude, it's so. I keep seeing a lot of, I follow some really great folks on Instagram, and they are constantly posting about gratitude, and it constantly reminds me of yes, this is one of those special ingredients. This is one of those things that just helps in so many ways. It's a balm for the soul. It's a salve, a balm for the soul and a salve for the heart. And I find myself beating myself up for multiple reasons. Like, I don't know if anybody else deals with this, but I kind of look at my life, and when I'm not feeling gratitude, I feel like I'm failing, right? Like, I have so much to be grateful for. Why would I be struggling? And the fact that I am struggling with it should be some sign that I've got some major issue or problem or whatever. But it's just tough, It's very difficult to be grateful when you are struggling, feeling any number of things: inadequate, unloved, not enough in some ways, because you feel like, I don't know. It's a difficult place. It's a difficult place to feel gratitude from, I suppose. But that's why it's so important that even in the hardest of times, the darkest of times, I was having a moment today. Oh my gosh, earlier I was having a moment. I was like, God, help me through this right now, because I'm having a hard time trusting what's on the other side of whatever this is, and things that have not gone the way that I thought they should go, or they should have gone. Not even just my opinion, but just like the way things should have gone. But should have by whose account? By what measure? Like, there are so many things that are going on in and around our lives all the time that have nothing to do with us and everything to do with us. And we gotta trust God with all that stuff too, like, or the universe, if that's how you identify that power, that creator, or that creative force, whatever. But to trust in that, power, to trust in that force, and to know that even when things don't look like they're going the way that they're supposed to be going, and don't feel like they're going the way they should feel like they're going, and they're achieving something. And sometimes that's way beyond us too. Like, I think we're often used to achieve things in other people's lives with no benefit to us. It has nothing to do with us. I mean, this whole existence, honestly, I personally think this whole existence has nothing to do with us and everything to do with us, right? We're intrinsically connected to all of it. But it's not about us. Which takes a lot of pressure off, if you ask me. When you stop trying to be the, I don't know, even savior of your own life. that's a pretty major pressure to take off your shoulders. Trust. Every time I'm doing like any manner of like steady state cardio, or like going for walks and jogs and stuff like that, I'm always like, am I wheezing? Like, how heavy do I breathe compared to other people? I don't know. I'm on the treadmill, I got my earpods in. I don't know how heavy dude next to me is breathing. And I'm doing this live stream, I'm like, hi everybody, hi. Oh, it sure is pretty. Man, it's so incredible how all this nature works together, right? early in your life. I wish I'd have been educated on like biology and physiology, things like that. Understanding how my body works, understanding how the world works. Like the world literally, like like Mother Earth, like plants and animals, and how we all gotta work together and get along, and we can find that balance, which I do believe. I do think we can find that balance. But we gotta get everybody's heads and hearts healed. And I really do think we can do that. We can heal the world. I'm not gonna go down that song. Do I still do Let Me See Michael Jackson? And I'll leave that alone. Man, I feel like I'm definitely getting my steady state for the day. My trainers should be very happy with me. I'm gonna rock this out. Get my spread on. What's everybody doing for Memorial Day weekend? I'm assuming a bunch of people are going to a bunch of lakes and or other bodies of water. Oh, seriously, I feel like I'm like crazy wheezing. Am I crazy wheezing? Oh man. Hey, you know another thing? While we're on the subject of wheezing, don't smoke. For real, if you're out there, if you've never smoked, don't smoke. If you've never smoked cigarettes, don't start now. If you've never vaped, don't start now. Don't give nicotine an edge in your life. It's a liar and a life stealer. And know that if you smoke for like a long time of your adult life, most of your adult life, it's going to take a minute for your lungs to get back together, which is, I think, what I feel most of the time when I'm doing any kind of stuff in the gym, or just like doing sporty stuff, because, you know, smoking cigarettes will kill you. And if it doesn't kill you, it'll kill you. And if it doesn't kill you, you'll get to the end of your life and you'll wish you were dead faster than the drawn out misery that it's going to bring to you. And this is not a judgment or a indictment on anyone out there who smokes cigarettes. I feel you. I read you. I've been there. I still have moments here and there where I'm like, oh, maybe I could have another cigarette. Maybe I'd be okay. I've listened to that lie too many times in my life. And that little fucker just digs its claws into your mind. And it won't let go. It just won't let go. And it makes you think you need it. It's pretty impressive when you think about it. The only thing nicotine is good at is making you think you need more of it. That's it. I mean, you could say, oh, you know, kind of like chills me out a little bit or this, that. I mean, honestly, those little minor buzzies of nicotine, if you're a smoker, that stuff's long gone. All the most enjoyable bits of that were like the very first cigarette you ever had, and then it's just downhill from there because you need more every time. And I'm so grateful I was able to finally value myself enough to put them down. Crazy monkey on the back. And by the way, also, just for what it's worth, this isn't an indictment even on cigarette makers or anybody else. I mean, I definitely think there's been deceptions and things like that in the way that a lot of products have been marketed to us and sold to us and what we're told about those products. But at the end of the day, we know now that it's not good for us. It's not cool. I thought smoking, seeing it in TV shows and movies and all that stuff and all the people that I thought were so cool. And in high school, oh my God, all I wanted to do was smoke cigarettes. I started smoking it like when I was 16 or even maybe younger. And I smoked a pack a day for too long, y'all. And I wish I had my lung capacity back to where it was before I jacked it all up. You know, don't do that. Value your life. This body that we have, it's one of a kind. Literally, you get one. You get one. This is pretty too. Hold on. Metas. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's high, and it looks like it's climbing right up to the sky. I thought I was going to do the rest, didn't you? Suckers. By the way, I am so grateful that well, so many things, but I'm so grateful that I get to live near nature. I think it's one of those things that we take for granted. We take it for granted. We're so consumed by the other aspects of life. More urban ones, let's say. More urban opportunity and recreation and all that. But by the way, I also not like I'm a city person myself. But when you start losing touch with all this stuff, I think you actually genuinely start losing touch with a part of life. Your life, our life, the life that connects, that's in and through all of us. That magic that is life is in and through all of the plants and all of the animals and all of us. And when you lose contact and lose connection with bits and pieces of that spectrum of life, or that wheel of life, then I think you actually start losing touch with parts of yourself as well. And others, you know. And by the way, these are all things that very, very wise, sage, intelligent people have been saying for a long, long time. I'm not saying anything new by any stretch, but I think always worthy to talk about, to be reminded. We need to constantly be reminding each other of where true value lay and where fake value lay, and not be duped by and sold on fake value. And I think that's happening on a regular basis, y'all. I mean, through social medias, through the interwebs, through television, whatever. I know that I work in entertainment, and I'm certainly not trying to slag all entertainment. I just, or the internet for that matter. I think it's a wonderful place. Can be a wonderful place. But there's so much bullshit out there, y'all. And most all that bullshit is not valuing your life. It's not. It's valuing whatever their bottom line is, their agenda is. Whether it's something they want to sell you. Well, I guess it's always something they want to sell you. Whether it's a product or an idea. Consider the salesman. Consider the salesman. That's a nice little shot there too. Hold on. So pretty. Q&A. Oh, wait, no, before we go into Q&A. Something I've been thinking about and I don't know, chewing on, meditating on, praying on, and then I keep feeling like I'm getting reminded of is the concept of trauma. And by the concept of, I mean like the very real thing that is trauma. There's physical trauma, there's mental, emotional, spiritual trauma. And that's real. That's the real. And we're only now kind of scratching the surface of just how young you can be impacted by trauma and how it can affect you even in those times, and how long it will affect you, which is essentially the rest of your life. But there is healing from trauma. You can be healed from trauma. I am testimony through the therapy and prayer and the love of so many people in my life. I have definitely been able to heal so much of my trauma. Not all of it. I still got some that I'm working on, for sure. I'll probably have some till the day I die. Because I'm not even sure that the point really is to get rid of all of it so much as trust through all of it to wherever you end up at the end of it all. But if you're out there and you have suffered any kind of trauma whatsoever, thinking about you, praying for you, sending you love and light genuinely. And by the way, this kind of applies to everybody. I mean, if we're being honest, like, I don't know anybody who could say that even as a child, because a lot of the stuff we don't even remember. I mean, genuinely, there's a lot of stuff that happens to us when we're kids and we don't remember, we block it out. So, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe all of us, perhaps have dealt with some of this in one way, shape, or form in our lives. But I just wanted to, talk on it for a second, just to, again, validate the idea that it is very real. We very much suffer it. It very much affects our lives. It can very much be healed, but we very much have to do the work in order to do that. Loving ourselves through all of that, which is a difficult thing to do, depending on the programming you've gotten in your life. Yeah. And if you've never, I think because we live in the world that we live in, and we're only now scratching the surface of a lot of these concepts in mental health, I think a lot of us have never been trained to even attempt to identify areas in our lives that have been traumatized, that have been abused and traumatized, and how that is affecting the rest of our life. So you may not think, by the way, as I didn't. I mean, I didn't. I thought I had dealt with all of that stuff. Genuinely, I thought I had worked through a lot of the resentment and pain and anger and fear that I had in my life, and I had, but not nearly what I needed to. Wasn't even aware of it because I wasn't really aware, again, to even look for it. We're just now starting to understand these things in a way that it's being, available to the layman. Like, oh wow, look at this stuff, and but it's so real, and it's and it is very powerful. It can be powerfully destructive in our lives, absolutely, but it can be redeemed, y'all. It can be redeemed, and it can be used to be a blessing in your life and a blessing in this world. Something that you could never even fathom. Something that your traumas, your abuses and your traumas make you unique. Like I talked about, I think on Jay Shetty, like the gold streaks in bowls in Japan, when they fix the bowls with the gold, it strengthens you. It can 100%. And so yeah, just wanted to kind of dive into that a little bit too, because I was just talking to my buddy Peter about it, and there was some article he was reading, and I was like, man, I'd already been thinking about that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'd be remiss to not also encourage everybody out there to go check out activeminds.org, which is an incredible nonprofit that I have recently come on board to be an ambassador for and with. And I just think they're incredible. I think that their hearts and minds and focus are in the right place, and they really are trying to make a difference healing this world, specifically through the world, an area of mental health, and specifically on college campuses. They have chapters on over 500 campuses in the U.S. They have plans to double that very soon, which I very much would love to help them do. So if anybody out there feels led or compelled to dig deep into your pocketbooks and make a donation to a nonprofit, might I suggest Active Minds? I think that it can really make a huge difference in this world. Huge difference on those college campuses. Huge difference in those kids' lives, young adults' lives, which makes a huge difference on that campus, which makes a huge difference in that community, which makes a huge difference in that state, which makes a huge difference in this country, which makes a huge difference in the world. Guys, it's the positive dominoes. Let's go play the good dominoes. I don't want to play the bad dominoes anymore. I don't want to be thinking about, like, if that thing goes wrong, then this thing goes wrong, and then that thing's fucked, and then we're all dead. I don't want to do that. I want to go think about the things, the forces of change, the forces of good change that we can, daily things we can do in our own lives. Loving yourself. Loving yourself is one of the most powerful things that you can do in this world to make changes. I'm not even kidding. Because if you love yourself, if you can really understand what it means to love yourself, something that I still struggle with, FYI. This is not like somebody who's on the other side completely. Guys, this is a journey. It's a journey. But if you can really, the more you can love yourself, the more you're able to love other people, the more you're able to generate actual empathy and kindness and patience and generosity and love and love and love and love and love and love and more love. Anyway, that's that. How long have I been going? Oh, I don't know. I don't even... for somebody who played a tech nerd on television, I'm kind of, I don't know, awful with technology sometimes. I know some things. I'm good at some things. But there's a whole bunch of stuff that just doesn't, I don't know, just doesn't somehow compute in this dum-dum of a brain. So, okay, so... Oh, wow, good for you, Valerie Stewart. Down 50 pounds? Girl, get it! What you doing? Diet, right? I mean, change the fuel in your body. Clean, good fuel. That's a huge part of it. Well done, darling. Would I ever consider going vegan? Anthony ES. Says. I have considered it. I don't know. I like meat so much. And I do, like, on a I don't know, like, I definitely have a massive love for animals and a huge appreciation for them, and and even find them to be, equal within the value of all the life that's here. I don't see us humans as being somehow more valuable in the broader schemes of something way bigger than us. But I also, and because of that, I also feel like we're part of the same, circle of life. And I don't, if any of you follow, I follow this Instagram account called Nature is Metal. And I think it's awesome. But I don't think it's awesome because of how shocking, and by the way, it is. So if you have a weak stomach or you're a really big animal lover or whatever that is, then maybe skip on Nature's Metal, or, take a brief look and then bounce. But to me, it's awesome because it's a stark reminder of the world that we are a part of. The animal world that we are, and even plant world that we are part of. And I think at least it helps give us some context as to who we are and where we fit into all this, or how nature works even, and all that jazz. So to that extent, I don't know that I don't necessarily feel bad being a part of the food chain that happens to be higher than some other animals. But I understand and I respect anybody who is vegan. And I have thought about it. I have thought about, like, what if I just went entirely plant-based? Would I feel better? A lot of people say that all the time. I feel so much better now that I've gone vegan. And then I'll meet former vegans who say, yeah, I mean, I felt all right, but I really miss bacon and other things. I'm like, well, all right. But I really like to go with science with this stuff. If all of a sudden somebody can say, like, yo, we have figured it out, red meat is killing you and entirely plant-based is the way to go. If somebody can give me all of that information and it's true and it's fact-checked, then I'd be like, fucking rock and roll. I'm into it. Let's go. I want to live the best, healthiest, strongest life that I can live. I don't want to just dig into old routine because my dad ate meat and my dad's dad ate meat and so on and so forth. But from what I've seen so far with the science and all that jazz, there's certainly, from what I've seen, there's nothing irrefutably powerful in the arguments that I've seen for an entirely plant-based diet over some of the claims of, like things saying like red meat is hurting you or this, that, and the other. I've seen studies on both sides of everything, and I just don't know how to cut through. I mean, how do any of us cut through the nonsense, cut through the fake news, cut through the clickbait, cut through the bullshit? Like, where is that place? Like, Snopes was the place, and then Snopes got Snoped or whatever. Like, where do we find out? Just like, what's the real deal? I just want to know what is true. That's what I want to know. That's the very long answer to your have I ever thought about being vegan? What do we got? I wish I knew German too. I sprechen Sie Deutsch all day. Just waiting for. Well, thank you, Emmy Garrett. I really appreciate that. Yeah, as long as I'm feeling healthy and being sustainable, yeah, I think that is. And we're back. All right, I got a couple more minutes, and then I'm gonna go bye-bye. Is it difficult to be open about your faith while being a public figure? Your openness. I mean, I don't know. So look, being a public figure, whatever that is, yeah, that's weird and different and not normal. That people who don't know you, and therefore then take a kind of a vested interest in wanting to know more about you, and then potentially judging what they find out when they find it out. But I think we gotta, like, on all fronts, I think that we have to, interrogate our own ideas and opinions thoroughly to form them, and my spirituality is something that I have spent a lot of time thinking about, and I don't even profess to be right. I am a speck on a speck in this universe. So I don't know that any of the conclusions that I've come to by 38 years on this spinning ball of mud are 100% fact or whatever. But I've thought about them tremendously, and I have weighed them, and I try to not just form, but also only foster and hold on to paradigms and mindsets and opinions that are life-affirming, life-giving, life-bringing, life-protecting. I fail at that all the time, by the way. We are fallen creatures. We are broken. We struggle. I am, all kinds of broken throughout my life. But I'm waking up, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep trying to live that life. So because of all that, then when I do share my faith, first of all, that, to be honest, like I don't know that I'm sharing it that much with words. One of my favorite quotes within, I guess, Christendom is from St. Francis of Assisi, who says, "Preach the gospel at all times, and if necessary, use words." Like, that to me is what, if you profess to be in that grouping of spirituality, or any grouping of spirituality for that matter, live it. Just live it. If what you're doing, by the way, even outside of spirituality or religion, you want to believe in any ism, capitalism or communism or socialism or whatever, live that. Be the example of it working. Be the example of it being something that is good for others. Don't just shame or force or burden people into believing what you believe to be true. Because the truth is, anybody who's doing that doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't actually fully, deeply believe that what they think is true. They are terrified deep down that what they think actually might not be true. And so the only way that they can get you on board is to bully you into it. And then that also, coincidentally, gives them a little bit of a boost to feel better about what they think. But they still don't fully believe it. It's a really slippery slope, guys. And by the way, and I think this can be applied across the board. This is just, we do this as humans. It's crazy. But, I don't know. As far as like my faith, I don't feel like I don't feel like anybody's ever blacklisted me or not hired me. Maybe they haven't. I don't know. I wouldn't know if they did, but I don't think anybody has been exclusionary to me because I have been open about my faith. But I would also add that I'm very open about my faith, but I try to talk about what I believe through my action. That's what I try to do. And if you're doing that and you're trying to live an upstanding life, and people see that and they hopefully see your heart in all of that, even through your brokenness and all that, then I don't know how we could fault anybody, I don't, regardless of your faith or regardless of your political siding, if you're loving, I see that. If you genuinely are loving people, you see that. We see that in people. Those are the people that we need to be lifting up, putting into office, allowing to be the leaders in this world. They have got to lead from here, guys. They've got to do it. Because all of the other stuff is like, it's crazy. And we're sitting here, we're all arguing with each other and fighting with each other over the shit they want us to be fighting over, and distracted to all the nonsense that they continue to do. But there are good ones out there. There's some good ones out there. It's got to be because they genuinely actually fucking love people and the planet and animals and all of it, like the whole nine. Follow those people. Vote for those people, And I think, regardless of your walk of life, if you live in that way, nobody is trying to tear you down. I mean, there are people that are trying to tear you down, but that's clear that those people are lost and in darkness. And there have been people that have tried to preach love and acceptance, and they have definitely, by the way, I understand, been martyred. I get that. But it doesn't change, I think, what the objective is, and it doesn't change the way that we got to do it, which is in love. We got to... We can't hate our way to a better world. We can only love our way there. We can love our way there. We can do it. And I know that all sounds like super, whatever, hippy-dippy and nonsense, but I fucking mean it. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Whew. All right. That's that. Guys, thank you so much for checking in with me on another Mental Health Awareness Month of May check-in. I genuinely am sending you all love and light. I hope that this weekend is something that that it's more than a weekend. That it's something that resonates deep inside of us. If we're going to have these Memorial Days, quite literally anniversaries, things that remind us of something, then let it resonate in us. Let us think on it and let it resonate in us, and let us understand why we celebrate something like that. And however you feel about wars or what come from them, and I understand there are a lot of people out there that are very, very on the other side of anything having to do with soldiers or war and the atrocities that have happened. I understand that. I totally understand that. I know that plenty of men and women have died, perhaps maybe even in vain, for causes that they didn't believe in, but they still gave their life anyway. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we're a part of something that was protecting freedoms around the world. I do believe, at least on some very, very base and powerful levels. So I hope that resonates with everybody this weekend. I hope everybody's feeling loved. And yeah, and that's it. Okay. I'll talk to y'all soon.